The day starts with a very dramatic and disturbing event which has shaken the whole law enforcement agency in South Africa. A senior police officer, widely regarded in the country as one of the most powerful and revered figures in uniform, has been arrested in connection with a theft case which is thought to have serious repercussions in exposing systematic decay within law enforcement agency ranks. The whole arrest process, performed discreetly but firmly, has left both civilians and law enforcement insiders in a state of shock. As government spokesmen have remained tight-lipped with no official explanation offered yet and increasing numbers of outstanding questions, public pressure is mounting. Prior to our providing a thorough analysis of this bombshelling news piece, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit notifications in order never to miss an important update. For many years, this senior police officer was someone above the law. With a reputation established with discipline, command, and a very well-crafted public image, this senior police officer preserved a good image of law enforcement in the country. That image simply ended when fellow law enforcers took matters into their own hands, arresting the senior law enforcement official in custody for now. Reliable sources have indicated that this whole operation took place with perfect meticulousness and attention to detail, reflecting the gravity and caution with which the senior law official's detention took place. What is equally disturbing is not just this senior officer's position just yet, but rather serious allegations with which this officer is being charged. In contrast to more common suspects otherwise in other theft cases, this officer stands accused of underhanded theft operations. Theft is a crime common among lower-level criminals in a given social setting, yet this officer is someone entrusted with securing people from very crimes of a very similar nature. Preliminary information talking among law enforcers appears to suggest this case involves an alleged prosecution of stealing assets given in connection with official work. Such assets have very good financial value, with all these expected to be safely locked in an official way. Instead, these have all apparently found a way to be redirected for personal gain. Although investigation authorities have remained tight-lipped in official briefings, sources have indicated that work in making all these arrests took place in secrecy over an extended period of time. Focus is presently shifting to whether this is an isolated case or part of a larger saga of improper behavior. Among police circles, shock, fear, and skepticism have allegedly been sparked by this arrest. Those officers who have worked alongside this accused officer appear to be struggling to come to terms with these claims in light of their personal experiences with this individual. Backroom emergency meetings appear to be underway among police leaders as they attempt to assess damage to reputation in light of public pressure. The complete failure to provide official information has simply fueled increasing speculations. For most people, this failure of authorities to immediately come clean with information is a source of grave concerns over institution capabilities to police. Presently, this case appears to have touched a very raw nerve among most people because it attacks basic elements of trust. When someone with the highest reputation in law enforcement gets charged with theft, this not only affects them but brings into question everything they represent. South Africans are presently asking very difficult questions in light of this damning information. Can these people at these senior levels of law enforcement be trusted? Who will now ensure all laws are properly enforced? Who will guard their public resources? Lawyers have commented that cases such as this among senior police officers have ended up exposing a lot more flaws in this organization than individual acts alone. Everything will now hang in balance because all people hear is news of this arrest. Feedback among most people is very negative. Those people have since expressed unrestrained outrage in light of this news. Anger, disappointment, and weariness have since become common among most people. To most people, this case simply reaffirms an existing fear in light of this news. To most, these institutions are simply very corrupt in matters policing justice. Some people have since called for caution in light of this news. They have since emphasized the need to allow these accusations to go before a court of law for them to actually be true. Even so, all these people have since admitted that damage among all people in light of this news is simply very serious. A great deal of damage is already evident in light of this news because public confidence is shaken. Eventually, this officer will have to face official court procedures in light of continuing investigations to gather all evidence in this case. Prosecutors will have to prove intent in this case, since all these officers will have to follow a money trail as they attempt to establish if these officers have crossed all lines of law. Should this case come before a court of law, this will prove a very major precedent in light of senior officers in all these law institutions. Present indications are that this matter may spark a series of other investigations. If there were other players inside the system, it is possible that more arrests or news will arise in the coming weeks. However, this represents a turning point in the struggle against internal corruption in South Africa. For common people in this country, this case represents a moment of truth in learning if accountability really extends equally through all levels. The way this case is now brought to a final conclusion will not only represent a moment of justice but will show in addition how law enforcement can truly gain credibility in this nation in the future. Will this moment represent another rejuvenation inside law enforcement in South Africa, or will this represent another degree of disillusion among citizens? Only time will tell based on future news developments.